Ed? Here. Barb Connor, we know is not. Amanda Cooper. Here. Alex Sassoon.
Here.
Dwayne Gazinski.
Here.
Rich Barrows.
Here.
Very good, thank you. So our work meeting today is going to be about the development of 2026 budget goals and objectives, which you should have out in front of you. It's one page, it looks like this, both sides, which Dennis has put together. And Dennis, I'll let you lead the conversation on this.
Thank you. This is a pretty standard list of budget goals that are intended to set the stage for myself and the department directors in crafting their budget proposals for you to consider when we send you the proposed budget for 2026. I have attempted to focus a couple of the items to some very specific things, and I'd like to point those out to you. And then open it up for a discussion so we can kind of craft this for finalization at your next regular meeting. One thing I'd like to point out, and it's very serendipitous that Mary asked the question about beginning fund balance this evening, but the town is sitting on a very healthy fund balance. If you were able to read the email that I replied back to Mary this afternoon, but the beginning fund balance on your 2025 budget document on page 5 shows about a $2.1 million fund balance. That's very healthy. That's a 67% fund balance when compared to revenue. Municipalities typically, when they are setting up their target fund balance, they try to target about a 20% fund balance, and that is what is pretty much a generally accepted by all finance directors around the country, the Finance Association of the United States and ICMA and all those associations that have to do with municipal management. 20% is considered a very healthy fund balance. In my experience, each year when we would go to New York to appear before Standard & Poor's to try to lobby them to upgrade our bond rating, one of those things that we would focus on was our general fund balance to demonstrate how healthy we are financially. 20% was that magic number where Standard & Poor's would say, okay, you deserve some kind of consideration for a bond rating increase because 20% shows that you are, you've got reserves that you can survive a catastrophic issue if you had to pay for that out of your reserves now. So my style of budgeting, and I'm recommending this, but you don't have to abide by this. I just want you to consider this, is to establish your fund balance in the general fund first. So if you expect to receive $1 million in revenue, take that 20% of that, set it aside as what your fund balance is going to be. And then the rest of it is what you have to use to budget for operations, capital expenditures, and even future capital investment if you want to set money aside, say, for a major road project. So that's why you see under point 2 under fiscal responsibility, establish and maintain a healthy general fund balance of 20% of projected revenues. Now, some communities will say 20% is fine and dandy, Dennis, but we really want to be conservative. We want that to be 30. Or some would say, hey, we're in financial difficulty right now. We can't afford 20. That'd be great. Let's set it at 12 and let's ride out a storm. I'm only putting that here so that it is a topic of discussion among you. It's very critical, I think, to this organization to establish that target and then stick to it during the course of the year while you're budgeting. Okay, then the other thing I want to point out is that you'll see in fiscal responsibility, efficient services. I think there's one more category at the back. It might pop up while we're going through this, but one thing is under pursue operational efficiencies through the implementation of new technologies, outsourcing strategies, and that's spelled wrong, and intergovernmental partnerships when possible. Implementation of new technologies is extremely important to organizations that are small, have small staffs. You're not going to be able to improve customer service if you cannot take advantage of new technology. So I really want to emphasize the need to, in your budget goals, to focus on implementing new technologies. I know that this group has been talking about utility billing online as something you want to implement, and that has been dragging up. But that's one example of ways that you could implement a new technology and let customers go online, find out what their account says real time and not be calling into staff and taking up staff time. And that would save staff to do other things. And then we wouldn't be looking at staff expansion or having to hire more people to do tasks. So that's one thing I would like to point to. And then you'll notice that there's some other things that are transparency and accountability, collaboration and partnerships. I think the other thing that I would really like to stress when you're talking about this is communication. And this is one thing that I really emphasized when you were considering me for this position, but I think communication is something we really need to work on. And I would like the resources in the budget to reflect that too, in terms of a consistent and robust communication program that we could implement and pursue in this next coming budget. So with that in mind, I'd like to entertain any questions, but also kind of try to stimulate some conversation over the next 45 minutes if possible.
I think it would be helpful if we also had the different areas that we're having, like special taxes, sales tax, revenue, and when those may sunset. Like Parks has got one that should be coming to an end. Not, I don't believe it's in 2026, but
I think it's 2029.
I don't know, and even the road and bridge fund, not only ours, but the supplement that we get from the county when we voted on that, you know, a year or so back, just so that we see, I don't wanna be just limited to 2026, I wanna be able to,
Long-term.
yeah.
Long-term
So
revenue.
especially
projections.
as we're looking
Yeah.
at what that magical fund balance might be, that we're planning accordingly.
Okay,
That's a good idea, because then you're preparing for years that where our sales tax drops significantly because a couple of places go out of business or
Well, I'm preparing for our capital
some of
improvement
the,
too.
yeah,
Right.
some of the,
And if anything
capital
is
stuff.
sunsetting, to Mary's point also,
Right,
but yeah,
and if you need and also like when are the improvements that were made and the loans being paid off for the water and sewer system? Cause I think
So like a
those,
5 or a 10-year event,
some of those
see
are
maybe 10
coming up.
years for that.
yeah.
I think early in 30, some of those are coming up where those loans will be paid off.
okay.
So that was actually gonna be one of the points I brought up, and like last year was kind of a whirlwind, and I wanna like caveat Kasia and our previous police judge did a really good job trying to like. Get us to a budget, it was very complicated timing for some of our challenges, but like on those loans, I know I had been told that there was early payments on a lot of those and all that stuff, and I don't know.